Hi friends, welcome back. My name is Chris. Thanks so much for joining me here today. Our video is going to be a little bit different today. We are going to be working on a couple great strengtheners and stretches for our hip flexors. So our hip flexors are located here on the fronts of our legs and hips. They're comprised of a group of muscles that connect our hips, pelvis, even our low back. So, if you spend a lot of your day sitting, you might feel that tightness in your hips and hip flexors. You might be experiencing low back pain. It's always important though to consult a doctor if you are having any major pain in your hips or low back to really find out what's going on, but it might be due to tight hips. And so we're going to work on today a couple great stretches and a couple great strengtheners for our hip flexors. So all you need today really is your body. Option to be using a band for some resistance work. Otherwise, you can do these workouts with nothing really. So our first strengthener for our hip flexors, we'll start on our backs in a bridge pose. Recline down onto your back. You can have this band on your thighs, or again, you can have your legs free. Ground your feet about hips width distance, pretty close in towards your glutes. They don't have to be scooched in all the way, just a comfortable distance. Palms down by your side and relax your head. We'll lift up for a bridge pose. Draw your hips up towards the ceiling, ground into your shoulders and your palms. You might already start to feel the stretch here and some length through your hip flexors as you press your hips up. You might start to feel some activation through the lower back side of your body. And so as you ground into your feet, we'll start to take single leg bridge lifts. So one leg at a time, starting to draw your knee up towards your chest. So you'll already start to feel this activation here as you lower your foot down. We'll lift up on the other side, draw your knee up to your chest, engaging that hip flexor, and then bring your foot back down. Nice and slow, taking these single leg lifts, one at a time, about 10 to 15 times on each side. And continuing to breathe the whole time, nice and slow. Again, with or without the band. Again, you can repeat this 10 to 15 times on each leg. When you're done, slowly recline your hips down. Our next exercise will be band marches. So again, you can do this with or without a band. Continuing to ground your hands down by your hips. If you need a little bit more support, you can slide your hands underneath your glutes. Find a strong core here as you press your low back down into your mat. And we'll take single leg marches. So drawing one heel down at a time, slowly lifting your foot back. Using the opposite leg that's in this reverse tabletop pose for resistance to hold the band in place while your opposite leg extends. You'll feel this activation in the bent leg to find resistance. And then you're also activating your hip flexor as you draw your foot back in. And just continue to breathe. Again, you can take these 10 to 15 times on each side. Next, we'll move on to a couple great stretches for your hips and hip flexors. So after you've done those strengthening postures, it can feel really good to stretch out your hips. So we'll start with a 90-90. So bringing one of your shins parallel to the front of your mat or the side of your mat, wherever you're facing. And then your other leg will be at 90 degrees out to the other side. And just sitting up tall in your spine, you'll start to feel this inward rotation in your hips, really stretching out. And then this external rotation on the other side. So if your knees are lifted slightly, that is okay. No need to really press them down. If you need a little bit of relief, a little bit of support, you can always lean back into your hands if your knees are lifting up. If you have the flexibility, you can let your knees drop down. And then nice and slow, we'll rotate to the other side. So now your other leg is going to be in an internal rotation in your hip while your other leg will be turned out to the side. Again, your hands are always there for you. If you need a little bit of support, it might be different this time than it was on the other, depending on which rotation is a little bit easier, maybe a little bit more tough for you. And you can gently rock back and forth 90 degrees in each knee on both sides. And don't forget to breathe. And our last stretch for today will be a pigeon pose. So a good way to get into pigeon pose can be from a high plank or a tabletop pose, bringing one knee at a time towards its same wrist. So you can start in this high plank pose. I'm going to start with my right knee coming into my right wrist. You want to swing your leg out just a little bit to the side so you have room to lengthen out your back leg. So in this case, my left leg will extend all the way back, and I'll already start to feel the stretch here in the front of my left hip flexor. It can feel good to rock a little side to side. You'll also get a great stretch in your right side as well. An option to stay right here, option to come down a little bit deeper onto your elbows, onto your forearms. And you can hold these for about 30 to 60 seconds on each side. And so once you feel good on this side, don't forget to lift up. And then slide your other knee forward, lower down, and take your pigeon pose. Again, 30 to 60 seconds on each side. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today. I know this video was a little bit different, but I just wanted to share those little tips, stretches, and strengtheners for your hip flexors. Let me know if you like this video. You can go ahead and subscribe for updates on new videos to come. But thanks for joining me here today. Bye.